Hello and welcome back. We've got a very exciting series of tutorials on Kinesis coming up, Kinesis family of services, and today we're diving into Kinesis Data Streams. Hope you're as excited as I am. We've got a lot to cover, so let's dive straight into it. All right, Kinesis Data Streams has two modes. The first one is provision mode. We'll talk about that first. And the best way to visualize Kinesis Data Streams is by looking at it like a pipeline. So we were talking about Kinesis as a family of services applicable to streaming data. So Kinesis Data Stream is probably the core one among them, where data comes into this pipeline. Data is streamed from producers into this pipeline and consumed by consumers on the other end. And that's how I visualize it. Now, inside this pipeline, you'll find a concept of shards. Now, why are shards important? Shards is basically what allows you to control the throughput of the pipeline. Your write limit per shard is about 1 megabyte per second, or 1,000 records per second, and your read limit again per shard is 2 megabytes per second, or 2,000 records per second. Now you'll notice I have two asterisks here, and that's because there's an enhanced option where this limit will not be just per shard, but will actually be per consumer. That's something just to keep in mind. You can upgrade your Kinesis Data Streams and have the read limit to be applicable per consumer rather than per shard. But we're going to focus on this basic classic version where the read limit is 2 megabytes per shard. So now if you want higher throughput, higher write limit, and higher read limit, you need to increase the number of shards, and you will be charged a fixed fee per shard. So that's how you control your throughput. Now, here are our producers. They'll be producing data which will be going into our Kinesis Data Streams. And before we continue, I wanted to say that producers can be applications that use Kinesis Producer Library, or the KPL, or the Amazon or AWS SDK, the Kinesis Agent, other AWS services such as CloudWatch and AWS IoT. For simplicity's sake, on this slide, I'm going to use EC2 instances. But if you want to see a comprehensive list of producers, check out the slide on Kinesis Firehose. That will give you a better overview. Okay, so producers are producing their data packages. The packages go into the shards, and here's what a record looks like, or package. There will be a sequence number which is added by Kinesis. So in this case, it's number 4 for this package inside the shard. And there will be some information which is included by the producer. And this includes the partition key and the data blob, or the data payload, which needs to be up to 1 megabyte. Now, why are partition keys important? Well, partition keys specify not directly which shard the data will go into, but basically any packages or any records with the same partition key will go into the same shard. And why is this important? Because order is preserved within a shard, but not across shards. Very important. Remember that for the exam in Kinesis Data Streams. If you want to preserve order in your records, it's important for your application, then you need to be sending the data packages with the same partition key, and then they will go into the same shard, and then order will be preserved. Now here's another producer producing records. Here's another producer producing records. As you can see, this third producer is using a mix of partition keys, and that therefore it's not guaranteed that the records will go into the same shard. They're going across different shards, and therefore order may not be preserved. Maybe for that producer it doesn't matter that order is preserved. And here is another producer producing records again. Now, these records will be kept in Kinesis Data Streams for between 1 and 365 days. The default is 1 day, and if you set this value more than 7 days, then you'll be charged an additional fee. Now, what's important to understand here is that these records are kept in there. They're immutable. They cannot be changed or removed or modified in any way, and that means they can be read multiple times. So what is essentially called replay of data. Multiple producers can read them. Same producer can read them multiple times. Records are just kept in there, and that's important. That's an example of how Kinesis is different from SQS, one of the many examples. So yeah, data is kept in there, and then the consumers read this data. It can be EC2 instances, Lambda functions, can be Kinesis Data Firehose, can be Kinesis Data Analytics. And now, what else is important is that Kinesis Data Streams provides data encryption at rest, and keep that in mind for the exam. So when the data is sitting there in Kinesis Data Stream, it is encrypted. Now, there's a second type of second mode for Kinesis Data Streams, and that is the on-demand mode. Here, basically, you don't need to provision shards yourself. Shards are automatically managed by AWS, and you should use this option when you don't know in advance how much throughput you will need when it needs to scale up and down. So basically, write limit will scale from 4 megabytes per second to 200 megabytes per second, and the read limit will also scale and will be at least twice the write limit. So there you go, that's pretty much it on Kinesis Data Streams. Here's a quick summary of what we discussed, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Look forward to seeing you back here next time. Until then, enjoy the cloud. All right, we're diving into Kinesis Data Firehose. Let's do it. So here we've got Kinesis Data Firehose, and what you need to know is that it's a fully managed near real-time service designed to load streaming data into data sources and analytics tools. So Kinesis Data Streams processes streaming data from producers to consumers, but Kinesis Data Firehose loads streaming data from producers to destinations. So let's have a look. Here we've got the destinations, which can be Kinesis Data Streams, Kinesis Agent, which you install onto servers, whether EC2 or your own servers, SDK and KPL, where KPL stands for Kinesis Producer Library, and basically any application using the SDK or KPL, can use the SDK or KPL to load data into Kinesis Data Firehose. Then we've got some AWS applications that natively work, or AWS services that natively work with Kinesis Data Firehose, such as EventBridge, CloudWatch Logs, and IoT Core. Now, Kinesis Data Firehose, before it loads the data, can transform the data on the fly using Lambda. It can also back up the data, either all of the data or only the data that failed to load to the destinations. It can back it up to an S3 bucket. And finally, let's talk about the destinations. Now, the destinations are very important. You need to know them very well. For the exam, there can be questions on these destinations, what they are. So there are three groups. First one is custom HTTP endpoints. Second one is AWS services, and this includes, of course, S3 buckets. It also includes Redshift, but keep in mind, look out for trick questions on the exam about this, where the data isn't actually loaded well. The way this works, Data Firehose doesn't load the data directly into Redshift. It first loads it into an S3 bucket. It's like a staging bucket. And from there, it's copied into Redshift. This all happens in the background. And the third destination is OpenSearch. So there we go. Remember these destinations. And the final group is third-party destinations, such as Datadog and Splunk, and there are other partners, other application partners, but perhaps these are the most two important ones to keep in mind. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that Kinesis Data Firehose can only write to one destination at a time. If you want to write to several destinations, you need to create several instances of Kinesis Data Firehose. The good news is that you are charged per volume of data processed. So you're not charged per how many instances of Firehose you create, but rather how much data is going through Firehose. So it's a very friendly pricing model. And the final thing to remember for the exam is that it's a near real-time service. So it's not real-time like Kinesis Data Streams, it's near real-time. So if you see near real-time on the exam, they're likely talking about Kinesis Data Firehose. And why is it near real-time? Because it will either wait for a batch of 1 megabyte of data before it writes, or it'll wait for 60 seconds, whichever comes first. Now you can adjust these values, but those are the minimum. So it will wait for those one of those two to happen. And I've got a funny image here for you of a person running, because it's like almost real time, but it's not real time because they had to pick up the turtle, which is that 1 megabyte of data represents a megabyte of data. And now they're running with the turtle. So it'll basically almost real time, but not real time because the turtle is slow. So hopefully that'll help you remember. Here's a quick summary of what we discussed. I look forward to seeing you back here on the next tutorial. And until then, enjoy the cloud. All right, welcome back. Today we're talking about Kinesis Data Analytics for applications. So here's Kinesis Data Analytics for applications. First thing to keep in mind is that it is a legacy service. It's still provided by AWS, but it may be phased out with time because already AWS is saying that Kinesis Data Analytics for Apache Flink which we'll discuss in a separate tutorial, is more preferable. But having said that, they do have some differences. So this is how Kinesis Data Analytics for Applications works. You can ingest data from Kinesis Data Streams or Kinesis Data Firehose. It goes into in-app input streams, which you can then process with SQL code. So basically, you can write your typical SQL queries. You can aggregate the data, process it in certain different ways, and get insights from the data using SQL. You can also pull in data from a static S3 bucket, which would be reference data. So imagine you're streaming data from Kinesis Data Streams or Firehose is data about a computer game and what actions players are taking, and then in that streaming data you only have the player ID and then lots and lots of actions and things that they're doing. But you don't have information about the players per se, which is stored in an S3 bucket, and you can pull it from there and join it using that ID value and, for example, pull up the player's name and pull up how much, I don't know, what rank they have, how much they're paying for their subscription, and all this other static information. Then from the SQL code, that data goes into in-app output streams, and also there's an in-app error stream. So remember that for the exam, that there is an in-app error stream for catching errors. Now, from here, you can output that data into Kinesis Data Streams and or Kinesis Data Firehose, and it can go into its usual destinations from there, such as EC2 Lambda for data streams and S3 buckets, Redshift, and so on for Data Firehose. So that's in a nutshell how Kinesis data analytics for applications works. The use cases would include the real-time metrics, live leaderboards, time series analytics, dynamic pricing, and more. The key things to keep in mind here, or one other key thing to keep in mind here, is that this is a real-time service unless you are using data from Firehose or putting data into Firehose. As we know, Firehose is near real-time. So if you're integrating it on one or the other end with Firehose, then it becomes near real-time as well because of Firehose itself. But otherwise, if you're just using it with Kinesis Data Streams, then it is a real-time service. And the other thing is that it is a legacy service, but it still can come up on the exam, so it is important to remember these things. Here's a quick summary of what we discussed. I look forward to seeing you back here next time, and until then, enjoy the cloud. Hello and welcome back. Today we're talking about Kinesis Data Analytics, the second version of this service, which is for Apache Flink. So here is our Kinesis Data Analytics for Apache Flink. You can ingest data from Kinesis Data Streams or Amazon Managed Streaming Service for Apache Kafka or Amazon MSK. And you cannot, important point here is you cannot ingest data from Kinesis Data Firehose. If you want to use Kinesis Data Firehose, you need to use the legacy version of the service, which is Kinesis Data Analytics for Applications, which we talk about in a separate tutorial. So keep that in mind for the exam, very important. You cannot ingest data from Kinesis Data Firehose. So then Kinesis Data Analytics uses Apache Flink, or allows you to use Apache Flink to write code in either SQL or Java to process this data, to analyze this data. You can link this up with an AWS Glue data catalog, which will effectively allow you not to have to decipher the metadata every single time, but otherwise keep a record of what the data means, and you can just basically reference it every single time quickly. You can then output the data to Kinesis Data Streams, to Amazon Managed Streaming Service for Apache Kafka, and interestingly, you cannot ingest from Kinesis Data Firehose, but you can output to Kinesis Data Firehose. So remember these destinations, these sources and destinations for exam. Also, you can connect Kinesis Data Analytics for Apache Flink to Kinesis Data Analytics Studio Notebook, which uses Apache Zeppelin, which allows you to write code with SQL, Python, and Scala to create visualizations and dashboards that look like this. So there we go. That's how Kinesis Data Analytics for Apache Flink works. The use cases are the same as Kinesis Data Analytics for Applications, but there are also more advanced use cases such as complex event processing, including time window and pattern detection. So it's a bit more sophisticated and can handle more advanced use cases. Here's a quick summary of what we discussed. I look forward to seeing you back here next time. And until then, enjoy the cloud.